To the casual observer, the global economy often appears chaotic. You walk into a store and find basic goods completely wiped out, while the prices on whatever remains have spiked since your last visit. Out on the oceans, sprawling supply chains stall, shipping lanes freeze, cargo backs up, and the daily flow of commerce grinds to a halt, contributing to the perception of a random world. We tend to view price as an arbitrary metric dictated by corporate whim. In reality, price functions as a secondary symptom, a visible signal of forces colliding out of sight. The chaos is an illusion. Beneath the surface, every transaction follows the rigid logic of the market's core mechanics, the continuous collision of supply and demand. To understand the market, we start with the consumer and the law of demand. This inverse relationship is consistent. As the price of a good rises, the quantity that people are willing to buy falls. This contraction is driven by two specific forces. First, the substitution effect. When premium ice cream gets too expensive, consumers switch to candy bars. Second, the income effect. As prices rise, a $5 bill simply cannot buy the same volume of goods, forcing consumption to drop. This is reinforced by diminishing marginal utility. The first scoop of ice cream yields peak satisfaction, but the fifth provides almost none. Because each additional unit brings less utility, sellers must drop prices to incentivize further purchases. Changing the price tag only moves us along this specific line, but when the outside world changes, the entire curve shifts. 5 core triggers force this shift: consumer tastes, the number of active buyers, the prices of related goods, shifts in income, and what people expect to happen in the future. Consumer demand is never a static, fixed number. It is a constantly moving baseline dictated by human psychology and external conditions. On the other side of the transaction, producers follow the law of supply. While buyers want discounts, producers require higher prices as a financial incentive. The math must justify the cost of allocating resources to create a product. Just like demand, production capacity is altered by 5 determinants: input costs, the number of active sellers, technological innovation, government intervention, and future producer expectations. If the cost of raw materials or livestock jumps, profit margins vanish, production slows down, and the entire supply curve is dragged to the left. Conversely, a technological breakthrough that increases efficiency or a direct government subsidy makes production cheaper, shifting the curve out to the right. Buyers will always hunt for the lowest price, but the physical reality of the market requires higher prices to justify the creation of goods in the first place. When these two motives collide, we find market equilibrium. This is the clearing price, where consumer willingness to buy matches producer willingness to sell. In this mock market, that balance strikes at $3. If the price is set too high at $5, a surplus emerges. Producers keep making it, but consumers stop buying. Unsold inventory piles up, eventually forcing sellers to discount their prices. If the price drops to $1, the opposite happens. Demand skyrockets while production stalls, creating scarcity. Eager buyers compete for what is left, bidding the price back up toward equilibrium. The free market relies on this constant friction. It uses surpluses and shortages to drag prices back toward the point where the market clears. We can watch these abstract curves violently shift in the real world. Consider the Strait of Hormuz, a bottleneck carrying 20% of the world's daily oil consumption. When conflict restricts shipping lanes here, the global energy supply curve shifts sharply to the left. The result is immediate. Crude oil surges, and European natural gas prices spike by 61%. Simultaneously, severe El Niño weather patterns trigger global droughts. This drives up agricultural production costs, destroying harvest yields and pushing global food commodity prices up by 15%. We see the same mechanics in advanced manufacturing. When China imposes export licensing requirements on rare earth elements, they artificially restrict the supply of vital industrial inputs, creating structural disruptions across the global tech sector. Even the need for shelter follows these laws. In Northern and Central Europe, a 20% drop in building permits creates a deep structural shortage in housing, shifting the supply curve left and forcing rents to record highs. Whether it's a geopolitical bottleneck, a dead harvest, or government policy, physical constraints reliably shift supply to the left, making global survival more expensive. While supply struggles, demand is exploding in the opposite direction. The rapid build-out of AI data centers and new stationary battery grids has created an unprecedented rightward shift in demand for industrial metals. This technological boom has doubled the demand for lithium and pushed copper toward record pricing, forcing extreme physical expansion in mining operations just to satisfy the market's requirements. These realities are all converging. Supply curves are collapsing left, just as raw industrial demand surges right, clashing directly at our most vulnerable trade bottlenecks. These shifting curves explain every empty shelf and every sudden price spike. Understanding these mechanics provides the foresight needed to anticipate structural changes and navigate a volatile global economy. The world isn't random. It's just a market constantly trying to clear itself. If you are ready to start spotting the hidden mechanics behind the global headlines, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our upcoming breakdowns. Thank you for investing your time with us today. Keep your eyes on the curves, and I'll see you next time.